Greetings everyone, and welcome to my coin collection. Today's coins are a set released by the nation of what was then called by the West, North Yemen in 1974. Today the Republic of Yemen is a country on the southern end of the Arabian Peninsula. It borders Saudi Arabia to the north, Oman to the northeast, and shares maritime borders with Djibouti, Eritrea and Somalia. Compared to much of the rest of the peninsula, it has relatively fertile land and adequate rainfall, so much so that Ptolemy, the ancient Greek polymath, described Yemen as Eudaimon Arabia, or in Latin Arabia Felix, meaning happy or fortunate Arabia. It is unlikely that anyone would describe Yemen that way today. Given its location, Yemen has had a long and complex history, including developing the South Arabian alphabet by the 12th to the 8th centuries BCE. During the succeeding few thousand years, numerous different sheikdoms, dynasties, and kingdoms have occupied that part of the peninsula. However, much of why these coins are attributed to North Yemen dates back to the 19th century, when the British and Ottoman empires controlled the peninsula. Both wanted to maintain and protect trade routes, while the Ottomans also wanted control of the Islamic holy cities of Mecca and Medina, and Britain needed a coal depot to service their steamers en route to India. It took 700 tons of coal for a round trip from Suez to Bombay. Eventually, Aden and much of what would become South Yemen were made part of the British colony of Aden and the Aden Protectorate in 1874, which Britain governed until the 1960s. After the conclusion of World War I, with the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, northern Yemen became independent as the Mutawakkilite Kingdom of Yemen. On September 27, 1962, revolutionaries deposed the newly crowned King Mohammed al-Badr, took control of Sana'a, and established the Yemen Arab Republic, marking the beginning of the North Yemen Civil War. By 1968, following a final royalist siege of Sana'a, most of the opposing leaders reached a reconciliation. Meanwhile, in the south, on October 14, 1963, an armed struggle known as the Aden Emergency began, as numerous groups rebelled against British control. With the Suez Crisis, the British began to withdraw, and southern Yemen became independent as the People's Republic of Yemen on the 30th of November 1967. Then, in June 1969, a radical Marxist element gained power in an event known as the Corrective Move, reorganizing the country into the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen on the 30th of November 1970. By the time these coins were minted, in 1974, there had been a short border conflict between the two states in 1972. This was resolved with negotiations where it was declared unification would eventually occur, a process which took 18 years. These are the third series of currency produced for North Yemen, and the first that was decimalised. Previously, between 1904 and 1963, they had had the Rial, spelt with a Y, where 4 zalat equaled 2 halala equaled 1 buksha, and 40 buksha equaled 1 Rial. After the revolution, between 1963 and 1974, they moved to the Rial without a Y and without the lower denominations, so that 40 buksha equaled 1 Rial. This set features the first decimal currency, with 100 fils equal to 1 Rial. It was minted at the Royal Mint at Llantrisant in Wales. On the obverse is the new coat of arms of the Yemen Arab Republic that was introduced for 1974 and helped to be established by the minting of this new currency. It features a golden eagle of Saladin with a scroll between its claws, flanked by 2 of the country's flags, which would have red at the top, white in the middle with a 5-pointed green star, and black on the bottom. On the eagle's chest is a shield depicting a coffee plant at the top and a symbolic representation of the Marib Dam below. On the scroll it features the Arabic words Al-Jumhuriyah, Al-Irabiyat, Al-Yamaniyah, meaning the Yemen Arab Republic. The coins use both the Western calendar and the Hijri Islamic calendar, which is why there are 2 years, 1394 and 1974, at the base of each coin. The first coin is the 1 field. In the centre, it has the denomination 1 with the word fields immediately underneath it. Around the top it says Central Bank of Yemen in Arabic. It is made of aluminium. The second coin at the base of this set is the 25 fields. The Arabic grapheme for 2 looks somewhat like a reversed English Y, while the 5 is a circular shape above the Arabic for fields. Once again, the top has Central Bank of Yemen. It is made from copper nickel. The central coin in this set is the 5 fields, as you can see from the grapheme for 5 with the word field underneath. The other features are the same as the previous coins, except that this coin is made from brass. The 10 field is also made of brass. At the centre is the denomination in Arabic with the numerals above the name. Like the 1 and 5 fields coins, it was only minted in 1974 and 1980. The larger coins were minted more often. The final coin is the 50 field. You might have noticed that the Arabic writing under the 50 and the 25 looks different to the other coins because, as with some other languages, the size of the denomination changes the form of the word. It's also made with copper nickel. Since 2011, and what has become known as the Arab Spring, Yemen has been in a state of political crisis. President Ali Abdullah Saleh, who had been president since unification, stepped down in 2012, but a civil war has been unfolding there ever since. That war has resulted in extensive famine and a cholera outbreak, so that in 2019 the United Nations reported that Yemen is the country with the most people in need of humanitarian aid, about 24 million people, or 85% of its population. In March of this year, it released the Yemen Humanitarian Response Plan, and I will put a link to the description below if you want to find out more. I hope you've found these coins interesting. If you have, please like the video and leave a comment down below. Perhaps you might also consider subscribing to my channel to ensure that you see all the upcoming coins in my collection.